It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Cloudwater Brewing Company, and this is a can of their West Coast IPA, described as zesty and bitter, coming in at 6% ABV in a 440 milliliter can. You can see the condensation on the can. I have had this beer out of the fridge now for at least half an hour. It is very condensated. I'm going to say straight away, I took some pictures of this earlier on for the thumbnail of the video, and it kind of struggled a little bit to pick it up. I'm not sure, I mean, if you've bought this beer, comment in the comments box. Let me know what you think of this artwork from Cloudwater. Does it work for you? I mean, have you been taking pictures for Untapped? And, you know, for me, it's a bit... It looks good here, but it looks a bit washed out when you're taking pictures of the can. Beer with big ideas. This beer was between £3 and £4 a can in my local Tesco. Without further ado, let's get the beer out into a glass and see what we get. I say £3 and £4 a can because I can't quite remember. Wow. Wow, look at this. Look at that for a Cloudwater beer so far. The word Cloudwater, if you think about it, guys, if you think of it, think of the word Cloudwater. Think of what that represents, what, you know, cloudy water. My goodness me, that is the most kind of uncloudy Cloudwater beer I think I've ever poured into a glass in my life, especially being an IPA. I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm just giving you my kind of first observations as to what we have here. Wow, West Coast IPA. Now, if I think of first of all, let me explain. So, West Coast IPA, what does that mean? So, it's the American West Coast. It's San Diego, it's California. If I remember back when I had my first American West Coast IPAs, they were very much orange in colour. Big, kind of deep orange coloured beers. Really hazy and terrific looking. And what we have here is a very different looking West Coast IPA than that I can remember when I first started drinking this style of beer back in 2010. Again, I'm not going into this beer review negative, I promise you. Let's just crack on then, shall we? So a pale straw coloured looking beer, good levels of slow moving carbonation. We got a 1 finger white head that was probably a 2 finger white head before I started talking. The clarity is absolutely superb. It didn't look cloudy at all. Certainly doesn't look like cloudy water. Let's get the aroma. Yeah. Lemon and lime. Lemon and lime and a bit of zesty orange. So far, the beer doesn't look great. The aroma is not great. It's almost by the aroma alone, you can smell that the beer's been brewed at Brewdog. Just find it staggering. The reason why I find it staggering, we'll get into the taste in a moment, is because Cloudwater almost, well, they did. Cloudwater changed how people brewed beer all over the world. Cloudwater never had a core range. They only ever brewed a beer once, and I found that quite really annoying for so long that they brought out their double IPA series, and it was like V1, V2, version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, version 5, version 6, all the way up to version 13. And it was so confusing, I found. And the fact that you would buy a Cloudwater beer 1 month and then you couldn't find it the next month. I mean, I'm almost kind of like pining for that now. I'm pretty sure they still do that. This is like at the opposite end of what Cloudwater initially believed in. By putting a core range into a supermarket. And I think if they did put a core range into a supermarket, I wouldn't be expecting this. I'd be expecting something of a higher quality. Let's dive in. Cheers. It's drinkable. It's refreshing. There's an acceptable, and I say this, it's a very acceptable bitterness on the back end. It's definitely not a West Coast of America type bitterness that really, for 6% ABV, should be wrapping you around the knuckles with raw bitterness. For the style, that West Coast IPA style. It's the reason why on this channel you will never ever see me get so up close and personal with a brewery's beers. I knew for a long time that Cloudwater were brewing the most amazing beers, yet on my fingers I can tell you that I've probably only ever reviewed about 10 Cloudwater beers. There was just something awkward about the whole thing that I chose to kind of just step back away from committing too much of my time to Cloudwater beers. And I suppose the same for me could be said for Verdant as well. Verdant's beers are terrific. I love their light bulb and some of their other kind of, the pulp was a great beer, little 330 cans. But it wouldn't surprise me if Verdant went on this very same journey. They ended up like just their beers being contract brewed by Brewdog and on the shelves for a fraction of the price that you probably once paid. And this is a point of contention as well. If I did get on that Cloudwater journey, and if I did kind of like overly promote that brewery in their early years, I'd be promoting their beers at £5, £6, £7, £8 a can. And I didn't feel comfortable with that. I didn't feel comfortable paying that because the beers would disappear really quickly. The fact that they've gone to the other end of the scale now, where they're charging between £3 and £4 a can for this beer, and it's really low end, really kind of like low end, very, very average West Coast IPA. The fact that they've gone, oh, that'll do. And if I jumped on that bandwagon, I would have been paying £5, £6, £7 a can of their beers. And all of a sudden, I'm drinking this in the supermarket going, what? Then I'm very, very kind of glad. I feel vindicated in my decision that I didn't jump on that Cloudwater bandwagon. Because what we have here in the glass is quite poor. It's quite poor. It's orange peel, grapefruit, lemon. There's not much malt coming through. Not that this should be too much malt, but then again, if you think of an American West Coast IPA, then you would get that malt. You'd expect a smack of bitterness from a West Coast IPA, which you're just not getting. And the look of the beer, it looks poor, doesn't it? Without swearing, it's poor. My goodness me. I'm just going to face this up. I'm not interested in reading the back of that can from Cloudwater. If you want to pause the video and read it, you enjoy yourselves, you crack on. And I'm sorry, if there's people out there who are watching this video going, oh man, this guy's got a massive kind of chip on his shoulder from Cloudwater for whatever reason, then I apologise to you. It's just my own personal... I had a very early... And I'm not going to mention it on the channel. I never will. It'll stay up here. But I had a very early meeting with one of the top brass of Cloudwater. Very, very early on. And it was quite uncomfortable. And quite, like, belittling. I'm not going to say any more. But I chose to do the right thing for myself in the end, but by not chasing that kind of 5, 6, 7 pound a can beer. If you have done it, if you enjoyed the journey, brilliant. You probably not had that little kind of belittling experience as I had. But yeah, for rating for this beer, Cloudwater West Coast IPA, it's poor. It's really poor. It's been brewed by Brewdog. You can smell it. Taste of Brewdog. It's just weak. It's really, really weak. It's a 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers.